Hello friends, welcome to this part 2 video on the Varna system. In the last video, we explored what the Varna system was supposed to be. A flexible framework based on qualities and actions, not birth. Satyakama, Vishwamitra, Vidura, all of them crossed Varna boundaries because the early system allowed it. But something changed. The same civilization that produced those stories of transformation also produced one of the most rigid, oppressive social structures in human history, the hereditary caste system. How did a philosophy of fluid roles become a prison of fixed birth? Today, we trace the fault lines, the exact moments and forces that turned Varna into caste. The earliest Vedic period were semi-nomadic. When communities are mobile, identities are stay fluid. A man could learn a new skill and change his role as his tribe moved. The Varna in this world was a lived reality, not a permanent stamp. Then agriculture arrived at scale. Communities stopped moving. And this is where the first crack appeared, not through malice, but through simple inheritance of knowledge. A blacksmith's son watched his father shape iron every day. A farmer's son grew up knowing the land. A priest's son memorized the same hymns his father had. Knowledge became familial. Skills became hereditary, not by law, but by proximity. Over generations, professions became community. Community became identity. Identity became birth. The Brahmin who once taught anyone with the right character now taught his own sons. The Kshatriya who once earned his title through valor now inherited his sword. What had been earned became inherited. That is where the idea of Varna comes, without anyone declaring it. Began its slow corruption. The Varna system had 4 categories. That was manageable. But alongside it, something far more complex was formed. The Jati. Jati, the word literally means birth group, was not a philosophical concept. It was a lived social reality based on corrupt occupation and region. Not just craftspeople as one broad Varna, but potters, weavers, cobblers, goldsmiths, oil pressers, each forming their own distinct community with their customs, with their marriage rules, with their own territory. When the Varna system had 4 categories, Jati eventually multiplied into thousands, and Jati was far harder to escape than Varna. Why? Because Jati carried with it something Varna never did in its earlier form. Endogamy. You married within your Jati. Your children were born in your Jati. Your professions, your social network, your ritual duties, your food rules, all locked into your Jati by birth. Varna had been lens for understanding social function. Jati became a wall around identity, and over centuries the two systems fused, with Jati using Varna's philosophical language just to justify its rigid social boundaries. Kings noticed something useful about a stratified society. A population divided by strict hierarchy is easier to administer. When people know their place, their duties, their limits, their communities, they are less likely to challenge the order from above. Later dynasties, particularly from around 300 CE onwards, began formalizing caste distinction in law. Land rights, tax rates, legal punishments, all arrived by caste. Crucially, this was also when the category of untouchable crystallized. People placed entirely outside the 4 Varnas, deemed ritually polluting for tasks that society needs but refused to honor. Leather work, cremation, waste removal. These were not forgotten people of ancient Vedic society. The Varna system, in its original form, had no such category. Untouchability was an invention of a later hardened social order, one that needed a labor but denied the labor's humanity. And then came the moment that turned a complex shifting social reality into permanent bureaucratic fact. The British colonial administration needed to count and classify India's population. Beginning in the 1870s, the colonial census began systematically cataloging caste, listing thousands of jatis, ranking them, assigning them occupations, recording their nature and character as fixed traits. What had been fluid even in the declining centuries, was now frozen in administrative ink. A caste that may have been slightly higher in one district or whose members had moved into new professions was now permanently fluid under a fixed category with fixed implications. Scholars like Nicholas Drix have argued that the caste system as we recognize it today as a rigid all-encompassing birth-determined hierarchy was significantly shaped and hardened by the British colonial enumeration. This is not to excuse pre-colonial Indian society which gave genuine and deep caste oppressions, but it is to say that the colonial consensus made the system more legible, more rigid and more permanent than it might otherwise have become. India's independence did not erase this. It inherited it, argued over it, and has been grappling with it ever since. So here is what the full arc looks like. The Varna system began as a philosophical model, fluid, function-based, theoretically meritocratic. Then settled agriculture skills came hereditary. The Jati turned communities into walls. Then political power found the walls useful and made them legal. Then religious institutions made the walls sacred. Then colonial administration made the walls permanent. Even generation added another layer of rigidity until what had been begun as a classification of work became a classification of human worth and a denial of dignity to hundreds of millions of people. This is the tragedy not of one bad idea but of a good idea, and at least a neutral one, falling in the hands of every force that found it convenient to exploit. Stories from the last week, Satyakama, Vishwamitra, Vidura and the Buddha, Valmiki, they were not the mainstream of Indian social history. They were expectations, they were protests, the reminders that something had gone wrong. They survived in text precisely because the people who preserved them knew this is not what it was supposed to be. If history matters to you, and it should, share this with someone who thinks the caste system is simply ancient Indian tradition, because now you know it was never that simple. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share the video and hit the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon.